And then cross-legged seat, if that is accessible to you. If cross-legged seat doesn't feel right for your body, you're always free to find butterfly or another shape that does. We just really want to be able to lengthen the spine, especially for this first part of your practice, finding as much space in the rib cage as you can. So from this seated position, let the hands rest wherever it's comfortable to you. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. If comfortable, close your eyes. As always, if closing your eyes is not comfortable for any reason, you're free to maybe just soften the gaze. Looking down towards the floor, maybe half shutting your eyelids. Find just the slightest tuck of the chin, not enough to change the space of your throat or affect your breath, but enough that you find a little bit of extra length in the back of your neck. Begin to notice the sounds of your inhales and exhales. Notice the texture, the sensation of each breath in, each breath out. Notice the movements of your body as you breathe. And begin to lengthen each inhale and exhale. About 5 to 6 seconds in through your nose. And 5 to 6 seconds out through your nose. Beginning to create a rhythm with your breath. Eventually, each full cycle of breath becomes the same length as the one before and the same length as the one after. And continue to lengthen upward, creating space in the spine, space between the ribs. And from here, feel free to keep the eyes closed, or at this point, allow them to blink open. If your palms are facing down, we're going to turn them upwards, resting your hands on your knees. Let the fingers spread wide. Continue to soften the shoulders away from your ears. And this next exercise, again, might feel a little more accessible with the eyes closed. You're free to blink them open, keep them open. From here, bringing your attention to your right hand. And wiggle the right fingers without any movement in the hand itself. So see if you can just isolate the movement to the fingers. Maybe run the thumbs across the fingertips, but no movement in the wrists. Again, just the fingers. And then spread the fingers nice and wide. Again, no movement in the wrist or hand. Curl the fingers back into a fist. And then one more time, we'll spread the fingers wide. Now lift the hand just enough that you can get some movement into the wrist. Curl the fingers back into a fist. Without moving the fingers now, we're going to move the wrist, drawing some circles. Trying really hard not to move the whole arm, but mainly just the wrist. Maybe just flexing up and down, and again, just the right hand. And then we'll bring that into the whole hand, the whole wrist. So now movement in the fingers, movement in the wrist, a little bit of movement into the forearm, all the way up to the elbow. And then let the right hand float back down onto the knee. Allow the hand to go completely heavy. Take one more breath of awareness to the right side. And then transfer your awareness to your left side. So now again, try not to move the left wrist, the left hand, the left arm, and just move the fingers. Curling them in and out of fists, maybe running the thumbs across the fingers. Bringing sensation or awareness of sensation into just the left hand for now. And then again, we'll lift the hand just above the knee. Curl the fingers a few times in and out of fists, really stretching the skin between each finger. And then we're going to curl the fingers into a fist, isolating now the movement into just the left wrist. So trying our hardest, not so much to move the forearm or elbow as much as it wants to move. Good, and then letting everything move, the fingers, the wrist, the forearm, the elbow. And then once more, floating the left hand back to the left knee. Again, if the eyes were still closed, feel free here to blink them back open. Next inhale, now circle the arms overhead. As you exhale, connect your palms, hands to heart center. Good, again, inhale. And exhale. I'm going to work with a little bit of spinal twist from here. So we'll inhale, circle the arms. If comfortable for your shoulders, you're going to find a cactus position, bending the elbows at a 90. If this creates too much tension in your neck or shoulders, you are free to place the fingertips on tops of the shoulders, or even bring the elbows a little further down towards the rib cage for less tension. So again, try to lengthen, create space between your ribs, sit up nice and tall. Relax the tension from the shoulders and the ears. Take a breath in. As you exhale, we're going to twist from just the ribs to your right. You'll inhale, come back to center. Exhale from just the ribs, you'll twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. We'll do this a couple more times with the breath. An exhale to twist and an inhale to come back to center. Each time you inhale, think about sitting a little taller, lengthening upwards a little bit more. We'll take one more twist to your left. Now inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, we'll twist to the right. Now we're going to hold. Keep the left hand where it is for now. Just extend the right fingertips back behind the right hip. Use the right hand to lengthen between the rib cage. Sit tall. The left hand is going to come to the floor. We're not using the left hand to create the twist. So it's just sort of hanging out here. It's not on your knee. It's not pushing you into the twist. It's just sort of there in space. Sit a little taller and then use this right shoulder to deepen the twist by drawing the right shoulder back. Turn, look over the right shoulder with the gaze. Continue to sit as tall as you can, creating space in the rib cage. And again, resist the urge to use that right hand to push or pull you into the twist. And we're going to add head movement to the twist. So like we did yesterday, a lot of movement with the breath. We're going to inhale, turn the head to look over your left shoulder. And then you're going to exhale, turn the head to look over the right shoulder. So the shoulders are staying in the twist to the right. The head is going to move with the breath. Inhale to look left. Exhale to look right. Couple more here. Good. The next time you hold left or go to the left, we're going to hold left. So upper body stays in the twist to the right. Gaze is turning to the left. Now you can stay here if this feels like enough, or we're going to do little nods up and down with the chin towards the left shoulder and then up. If this creates a lot of tension on the left side of your neck, then skip the nod, maybe just hold the gaze. Release the gaze back to the right one more time. And then release the upper body back to center. Now from here, if you're sitting cross-legged, feel free to switch the cross of the legs. So we even out. If you're in butterfly or any other seat, feel free to adjust as well. Give yourself a little wiggle. And then again, inhale, circle your arms overhead. As you exhale, find that cactus position. Again, if cactus is too much for the shoulders, fingertips can rest on top of the shoulders. Elbows can also come closer to the rib cage. Take a breath in. To the left this time, you'll exhale. Inhale, come back to center. To your right, exhale. So a couple times, side to side, just to warm up into the twist, using the breath to twist from the ribs, from the shoulders. Keep the hip bones pointing straight forwards. So no twisting in the hips. We're gonna go once more to the right. And then this time, as you twist to the left, you'll hold. Keep the right hand where it is for now. Release the left fingertip just behind the left hip. Sit a little taller. Use that left hand to find length. And then bring the right hand down in front of you. Again, don't use it to create the twist. So it's just going to rest on the floor or on the shin in front of you. From there, find the twist by drawing the left shoulder back and then gaze over the left shoulder as well. Good. Now we'll move the head with the breath. You'll inhale, turn the gaze to center, look over the right shoulder. And then as you exhale, your gaze is going to turn back to the left. Inhale, look to the right. And exhale, look to the left. A couple more here. As always, if turning the head creates any sort of dizziness, vertigo sensation, keep the gaze stable and just look over the left shoulder. And then when we hold our next breath, you're going to look over the right shoulder, hold there, so you could meet us there. Stay here, or again, if you want a little more, with the gaze looking to the right, you're going to lower the chin and lift the chin, just about an inch up and down. But just take one more breath here. And we're going to turn the gaze back over the left shoulder last time. And then release, come back to center. We'll take a couple seated cat-cows from here, hands to the shins, the knees, the feet. Inhale, draw the shoulders back, lift the heart. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin. This takes 3 more. We're going to go right into cat-cow variation from hands and knees. So this is just more to release any tension in the back or neck. Good. And then from here, go ahead, release. If you were sitting on a block, feel free to set that block to the side. If you're using a blanket, feel free to use the blanket for under your knees for extra padding. Roll yourself on over to your tabletop position, coming to hands and knees, starting with your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. We're going to do the same variation of cat-cow that we did yesterday, so kind of building it slowly. If you weren't here yesterday, that's okay. I'll talk you through it. So we're going to start basic cat-cow just to start to link the movement with the breath, and then we'll add more movement. Your inhale will be the chest forward, belly down, tail up. Exhale, press the floor away from you, tuck your tail, roll your spine, bring your chin to your chest. We'll do about 3 more of just cat and cow at center, and then we'll start to add movement to that. Good. The next time you round the back into cat, we're going to soften the elbow towards the floor, send the hips back towards the heel. Now, if you inhale, keep those elbows bent as if you were pulling the hands back towards the knees. And slowly pull the heart forwards. At the very top, lift the chest, straighten the arms. And then exhale, round the spine, soften the elbows towards the floor. Send the hips back. And then again, you're going to heel towards the knees, pull the chest forward. So again, it's that forward and back, cat and cow. Kind of creating an oval shape with the body as you roll forwards and back. If this version's too much for any reason, feel free to stay with the basic cat-cow, maybe take some side cat-cows. So we're going to do a few more rounds. Then we'll change the positioning of the arms. We're going to come forwards into one more cow. Give me a really big cat. And then back to neutral spine. So we're going to start hips back under the knees, shoulders back over your wrists, but then we're going to take your right hand, move it a couple inches forward. So the palms become staggered. The right arm is at a quite deep diagonal angle, and then the left hand still under the left shoulder. From here, we're coming back to cat and cow. So the chest is going to come forward, and then the back will round. Just a couple more of these, and then we'll add the forward and back movement. And again, if the forward and back movement is too much, just stay at center, maybe do some side to side movements. So this time, as you exhale, you'll round, soften both elbows, then hips back, and then inhale, keep the elbows soft as you come forwards, lift at the very top. Exhale, round it back, soften the elbows, and then inhale, take it back forwards. We're going to do this a couple more times, just like yesterday. Good. This next time we exhale back, we're going to take child's pose back. If child's pose feels a little difficult for you today, you could always reach for a blanket or a block and have a seat on that block or blanket to kind of take the weight off the knees. So again, the palms are staggered. The right arm is quite a bit more forwards than the left. You might feel a lot more stretch on the right side from the armpit down to the right side of the body. Head heavy, and if it's difficult, you could always place your head on a block or a blanket as well. And then if you're wanting a little more, that right arm more in front of the left, you're going to walk your right fingertips to the left. And then for still more, place your left palm on top of the right palm, but make sure your head can still fit between the arms. We're not straining the neck. And then use the left hand to press the right hand down as you press the hips back towards the heels. If you still want a little more, you're going to roll the right shoulder up, look underneath the right armpit, and then roll the right shoulder down. So we'll be here about 4 more breaths. Again, the shoulder roll up and down is an additional add-on. The next exhale, we're going to walk the hands, right hand back, forwards in front of you. Inhale, shift yourself back forwards. Realign your hands back in under your shoulders. Exhale, give me a really big basic cat. And then inhale, basic cow. Good. Take a quick break on the knees. We're going to take the right leg, extend the right leg back, roll along the ball of the foot. Bend, straighten the leg. You could even lift the leg, bend, straighten, kind of get some blood flushing back into the right knee. And then switch legs, right knee down, left leg back, roll on the ball of the foot. Again, maybe bend, straighten, circle the ankle, and then come back to tabletop. We'll do the second side. This will be the last thing on hands and knees. So now right hand's going to be directly under your right shoulder. We're going to move the left hand forwards a couple of inches so it's at a staggered position to the right hand. Diagonal line in the left arm. Start cat-cow at center. So inhale, stretch forward, and then exhale, heart up. Again, inhale, and exhale. Just two more here. Good. The next time you exhale, you'll round, soften the elbows, send the hips back towards the heels. Keep the elbow soft. Inhale, slide forward, lift the heart. Exhale, round the back, press the hips back, soften the elbows. And then inhale, keep the elbows soft until the chest comes all the way forward. So again, about 3 or 4 more of these rolls with the arms staggered. And then again, you'll inhale, come forward. As you exhale, we're going to send it back towards child's pose. Again, maybe adding a block underneath the hips or a blanket, a bolster, maybe something beneath the knees or between the knees. Left hand still reaching a little further ahead of the right hand. So we have more length down the left side, head heavy between your arms, maybe your head resting on a block as well. And then for more, walk the left fingertips towards the front right corner of the mat. For still more, place the left palm on top of the right palm and place the right palm on top of the left palm. Use the right hand to press the left hand to the floor. And then again, for still more, you're going to look under the left armpit, rolling the left shoulder, the left side of the body up and down. If that's too much, take off that addition, any other variations that I gave you, finding the position that's right for you. Maybe here about 3 more breaths. Good. And then softening, walk the left hand back forwards, plant the palms, inhale, come back forwards. We're going to find one more cow at the top. Exhale, final cat. Good. From here, come to seated. At the center of your mat, give yourself plenty of space to lie back. So scooting yourself kind of front of center, extend both legs forward. Give yourself some point flexes of the feet, circle out the ankles. We haven't had a whole lot of movement in the legs today. Inhale, soften the knees, reach your arms up. As you exhale, easy forward fold, belly to thigh. So think about bending the knees enough that you can actually drape the belly over the top of the thighs. Let the chest rest on the knees, the arms go heavy beside you. You can walk the heels out a little further if you want more depth, but still gonna make sure that the belly, at least the top of the belly or the base of the belly, is resting on the tops of the thighs. So we take the weight off of your low back. And then let your head go heavy. Let the neck get a little bit of a stretch as well. Try not to pull yourself into this fold. Think about the shoulders, just kind of letting go for a few breaths, the arms. Good. And then placing the fingertips on the floor, you're going to slowly use the hands, walk the fingertips back to lift your upper body. Again, inhale, sweep your arms overhead. As you exhale, we're going to the floor. So always the option to go one vertebrae at a time using the core, strengthening the belly, or rolling to the side, protecting your back. Once you get to your back, you're going to bring your knees right up into your chest, give them a hug. Rock this out a little side to side. Start to create the connection of the earth to your spine to the earth, letting the back kind of relax into the ground. Place your palms on your kneecaps. Notice if when the palms go to the kneecaps, if the fingers kind of turn inwards, try to have the fingers sort of going straight up and forward, kind of pointing towards your feet. And then you're going to inhale, press the knees away from you just a couple inches. And then as you exhale, you draw the knees in, the elbows bend towards the rib cage rather than out to the sides. You're going to inhale forwards and then exhale, knees in. We'll do 4 more. Inhale and exhale. 3, 2, and good. Now from here, extend both legs up to the ceiling. We're going to take both arms overhead. We're going to do this sort of like a little bit of an upside down cat out, or not cow, down dog. So you're going to inhale, straighten the arms and the legs. So the arms are going to hover up above your head, just away from the back. The legs are going to get as straight as you can. And then you're going to exhale, soften the knees, soften the elbows, back to the hands to the floor. You're going to do that 6 more times. You're going to inhale, straighten the arms as much as you can, straighten the legs to the ceiling, and then exhale and soften. 5, inhale, and exhale. 4, 3, 2, good. 1 more. Straighten everything and reach. And then as you exhale, knees back to the chest. Another quick hug. Good. Place both feet on the floor. We're going to come to figure 4 on your right side. So once the feet get to the floor, check your hip bones, that the hip bones are at the same level. Right hip bones not higher than left or vice versa. And then cross the right ankle over the left knee. Once the ankle is crossed over the knee, again, check the hip bone alignment, that the right hip hasn't tilted higher than the left. From here, we're going to bring your left knee up into your chest to deepen. This causes a lot of tension in the shoulders. Try to release as much of the tension as you can. If it still causes a lot of tension in the shoulders, maybe don't find the grip. You could always place your foot on a block or just let the knee sort of hover without the help of the arms. Hands could be around the front of the left shin or the back of the left knee, just depending on what grip feels better for you. We're going to be here a couple more breaths. Good. Now stay in your figure 4. Lower your left foot back to the ground. We're coming into twisted figure 4, and we're going to add arm movement to this today. So we're going to start by lowering your legs to the left until the sole of your right foot can come to the floor or a block. And then the outer area of the left leg. You can always extend the left leg forwards if having the knee bent in this position is too much. So again, we're in figure 4. The left arm's going to open out to the left into a comfortable position, whether it's cactus or a half T. We're going to bring the right hand down alongside the right hip with the palm facing the ceiling. Now we're going to try to keep the hand and the arm on the ground as we go through this movement, but if it needs to lift, allow it to lift so there's minimal tension in your shoulder. So we're going to start sliding the right palm along the floor out. And then once it gets about to a third of the way, you're going to turn the hand so the palm is up. And then we're going to continue to slide the back of the hand up until the arm is at a diagonal to the right shoulder. Then you're going to slide the arm back down. When it gets about 2/3 of the way down, you're going to rotate the palm to the floor and then bring the hand back to the hip. So again, we're going to slide it up. Eventually, it's going to rotate palm to the ceiling, overhead at a diagonal, and then back down, rotating palm to the floor alongside to the hip. So we'll do this 5 more times. You'll slide up on the inhale, and then back down on the exhale. And again, we're trying to keep the arm and the hand to the floor as much as you can. And that might mean the range of motion changes a little bit. The directions that I gave you, just basic directions, you can adjust as needed. So again, we'll do this a couple more times. And the next time we bring the right arm up, we're going to hold that diagonal angle. You might need to adjust the angle of the arm, maybe a little lower, a little higher to give you a bit more. Palm upwards, back of the hand resting on the floor. So now once your right arm's in a diagonal angle, now we're going to turn your head to your left. So typically I would turn your head the opposite of the legs, but today we're turning the head towards the direction of the leg as we let the right shoulder relax to the ground. Take 2 final breaths here. And allow your right arm to slide down towards the neutral T position. Press your left foot into the floor. We're going to lift that figure 4 back to center. Once the right hip touches, you're going to give the hips a little shift and then bring the left knee back into the chest. Once again, back into that figure 4 stretch. Just take a couple breaths here. And then return the left foot to the ground, uncross. Take the right foot to the ground. Feel free to windshield wiper your knees a couple of times. And then we'll do figure 4 on the left. Again, make sure the hip bones are even. And then place the left ankle over the right knee. Again, make sure the hip bones are even. And if you're wanting more, bring the right knee up into the chest. Maybe the right foot onto a block or bolster, or even onto a chair if it's creating that tension in the shoulders or neck. So kind of adding, you could even place the right foot against a wall as well. Last 2 breaths here. And now lower your right foot back to the floor. Again, we're going to stay in figure 4. Your right arm is going out to the right. The legs are going to move to the right, sole of the left foot to the ground. Again, having the right knee bent in this position is too much. You could always extend the right leg forwards as well. We're still in relatively figure four shape. Now take the left hand, place the palm down on the floor alongside your left hip. Again, we're going to try to keep that left hand on the floor as you slowly raise the left hand. About a third of the way, you're going to feel like that hand has to rotate. So you'll rotate the palm to the ceiling, slide it the rest of the way until it's a diagonal angle above your left shoulder, and then slide it back down. Again, you're going to feel when that hand needs to rotate. You'll rotate it to the ground, bring the palm back to the hip. So slide the palm up, rotate the palm to the ceiling, continue to slide the arm diagonal to the shoulder, and then take it back down. So it's going to be an inhale to slide up and an exhale to slide down. Notice as we go through this movement, if one side maybe feels easier than the other side, this is your tight side or your open side, kind of noticing where those restrictions might be as far as the range of motion. Maybe the arm has to float, or maybe the rotation of the palm is a little easier or harder. So again, we'll do this a couple more times with your breath. And the next time, the left hand slides up at your diagonal. We're going to hold that diagonal. The left arm kind of add a diagonal higher to the left shoulder. Palm facing up to the ceiling. This time you're going to turn your head to your right, so away from your leg. Got about 3 more breaths here. And again, we're going to stay in figure 4. Move the right arm more down to a neutral position. Press the right foot into the floor. Bring that figure 4 back to center. When the left hip touches, you're going to give the hips a little shift back to center, and then bring your right knee back into your chest one more time. Good. Set the right foot back down to the floor, uncross left foot down, just the hip. Take another couple windshield wipers of your knees, side to side. Good. Bring your knees back into your chest. Give them another hug. Again, extend the legs to the ceiling. We're going to do that same thing we did before. You're going to reach your arms overhead. Get as long as you can through the fingers. Reach the heels to the ceiling. As you exhale, you're going to soften the knees, soften the elbows. Do 4 more. Inhale, reach the arms to the wall behind you, the legs to the ceiling, and then exhale, soften. Again, 2 more. Inhale and exhale. 1 more time. Big breath in. Same as you exhale, knees back into the chest. 1 more. Nice, good hug. Again, place your palms on your kneecaps. This time we're going to draw circles. So think again, fingertips facing towards the feet rather than in towards each other. And you're going to circle the knees around the hips, keeping the knees together for these first, we're going to do about 5 circles each direction. And then once you've done 5 in each direction, we'll do some rounds of in and out circles, circling your knees away from each other, around, back, together again. Again, about 5 each direction. Good. Once you're even both directions, once your knees come back together, set your feet on the floor. Adjust your spine so it feels long against the mat. We're going to extend the legs forwards and feel free to prop up your knees if you'd like the support for the low back. So maybe placing a pillow or blocks underneath the knees. Allow the arms to fall out wide, palms rotating upwards if it's safe for the shoulders, safe for the elbows. So coming into your Shavasana or relaxation position, we're going to do a little bit of mindfulness exercise once we get here. So making any last adjustments that feel needed. And then as your body starts to settle into stillness, we're going to start by bringing your attention into just your left arm. So keeping the right arm heavy to the floor, we're going to bend the left elbow at a 90 so the fingertips face upwards. Just like we did for seated, we're going to move the fingers, but try not to move the wrist. So you're going to wiggle the fingers. Just feel the sensation of the movement of your fingers. Pay attention to your feet here. So try not to wiggle your toes. Your toes are going to want to wiggle, but we are only moving the left fingers. In and out of a fist, curl, extend. But again, we're also trying not to move the arm or move the wrist. Now let the fingers hold position. We're going to just move the wrist. We're trying not to move the fingers. So whether the the hand is in a fist or the fingers are extended, try to just isolate the movement in the wrist. We're just kind of drawing focus to this area. Again, don't wiggle the toes. Don't move anything but your wrist. And we're going to move the whole hand, the wrist, the forearm. The elbow will stay on the floor. Don't wiggle your toes. Try to just move the arm. Good. And then we're going to float the left hand down to the floor, palm up to the ceiling. Bring your awareness over to your right hand. Bend the right elbow at a 90. Just move the fingers. And again, try not to wiggle your toes. Just the fingers. Curl in and out of a fist. Pay attention to the sensations in your right hand. Release the movement of the fingers. Move the wrist. So whether you're holding a fist or the fingers are extended, try to just move that wrist. Circling back, forth, flex. And then some movements of the whole hand, the fingers, the wrist. Good. And then let the right hand float back down to the ground, palm facing the ceiling. Now you're going to bring awareness to your right foot, and wiggle just the right toes, not the left toes. Don't move the right foot, the right ankle, just wiggle the right toes. Good. Now try to keep the toes still. Flex, point the right foot.
Don't wiggle the toes. That one's a lot harder. And then try to take a couple circles of the ankle. Don't wiggle the toes. And then let everything move. The foot, the ankle, the toes, but not the left side, just the right side. And then let the right foot fall heavy. Bring your awareness down to the left foot. So no movement on the right side, just wiggle the left toes. Don't move the foot, don't move the ankle, just wiggle the left toes. And then try to keep the left toe still. You're gonna flex, point the left foot. And you might notice one side is harder than the other to not find movement, to isolate the movement. We're gonna circle the ankle, try not to wiggle the toes. No movement on the right side. And then everything gets to move. The toes get to wiggle, the ankle gets to circle, the foot gets to flex and point. And then let the left foot fall heavy. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth, take a nice long out. Allow your body to sink into the floor beneath you. And see if now your body can just for a few moments find complete stillness. Good. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth. One more. Nice. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Take a nice long stretch. As you exhale, bend your knees, roll to your side, right or left. Give yourself a couple breaths on your side. And then from your side, now start to press yourself slowly up to seated. And once you get up to seated, take one more big breath, circle your arms, connect your palms. Exhale, trace the midline, hands to the heart. Thank you all for joining me today.